Hi, I'm Fariha, and I'm here today to share my top 10 tips and tricks. My first tip, incorporating Bond-Aid into your routine. Incorporating Bond-Aid will make sure that you have a much better adhesion of the base coat to your nail plate because it removes all the oils and contaminants that are left on your nail plate after you are done cleaning it with isopropyl alcohol. You kind of make sure that there are no possibilities of there being any kind of oily substances left on your nail bed. Another very important tip is to make sure that you shake the bottle. Say you have left the bottle on the shelf for like a while and you haven't used it. It's very possible that different parts of the gel start separating from each other. Then when you're doing the gel application, perhaps it won't be as opaque or the application won't be as smooth. One of the problems people face is that because of the stickier consistency of gel, they're afraid to go too close to the cuticle. I suggest pulling back the skin so you can go much closer to the cuticle than you normally would if you don't pull back the skin. Very important tip number 4, cap the free edge. Because if you don't cap the free edge, the edge of the nail will start wearing off a lot faster, and then the gel will start to chip off a lot faster too. And then you might have to do repairs on a client, which is what you want to avoid at all costs. If you cap the free edge properly, then it just ensures that the manicure lasts a lot longer. A good way to start getting used to it is to cap the free edge before you start application on the whole nail plate. So one of the most important things to remember when doing gel applications is that you have to use very thin coats, and that's what makes it different from lacquer application. You have to make sure that you do use thin coats because of the curing process. If you use very thick coats, it won't cure properly and that will cause chipping and peeling, etc. In terms of application, I always like to take off as much product as I can from the brush, and then I go in and try to apply a very thin coat. And if I need more product, you can always go back. But if you use too much product in the beginning and you just flood the nail, then you kind of have to wipe the whole thing off and start over again. Just stick with thin coats. It always works much better. So if you're working on clients, one of my favorite things to do and one of the most important aspects of doing nail art is that I love taking cute photos of it and posting it on Instagram. One product that actually makes it look better is the nail and cuticle to-go brush. This is like a cuticle oil that comes in almost like a gel form, and it has like a brush applicator. You can apply just the right amount around the cuticle and it's not overly oily or greasy, and you get really great photographs. So when using an orange root stick, sometimes you take product off of the actual nail rather than just the skin. But when using a cleaner brush or like a Kolinsky brush, you have like a fine point that takes off only the amount you want to take off. I also like to use a very thin liner brush to kind of dip into the color that I'm using, and using the fine point to go super close to the cuticle line. That way you don't really have too much product there and you can get a very precise, close application without getting it on the skin. A tip that most nail artists tend to use, and if you aren't doing it already, is to make use of your fulcrum finger, which is your pinky that you support on your other hand in order to make sure that you have a more stable application. A lot of people think that when you undercure, that's the only problem. If you actually over-harden the gel, it's possible that it becomes a lot less flexible than it's meant to be, and it starts lifting off of the client's nail bed a lot faster. Please stick to the manufacturer's recommendations in terms of curing time, which is also why it's important to stick to the lamp that comes with the system. The timing is very much dependent on what lamp you're using. This is the last tip, and it's like the most important tip. Relax when you're doing gel applications. The best part about using gels is that you can always go back and fix all your mistakes. You can fix it as you're applying it, you can fix it after the whole manicure is finished too. So if you have a client who points out, hey, I have this whole chunk that you didn't paint, but you're already done with the whole manicure, you can just go back and you can take a liner brush and fill in that spot. That is why gels are so flexible and great to use on clients. So these are my 10 tips. I hope this helps you and you can use it in your next service. Bye!